This
What
is
up with
gonna be
it,
great.
dog?
Man, we
My
chilling over here,
God.
man. We chilling.
You know, this is long overdue. You know that,
Oh,
right?
we already know. We already know. Oh, snap. Hold
What's
on.
going?
There we go.
Uh-oh. I was like, man, you got a ghost back there. What's up with it, sir?
Man, just chilling, man. Just over here, Hey, it's early, but it ain't that early. You early.
Man, what time you normally up though? By what time you up?
I get up at 6:30 and then take the kids to school, and then I try to work out and come over here.
When you do your workouts, I mean, what's your main thing? Like, is it treadmill or just weights, or what's your thing?
I just do, man. I get on the weights maybe about 20 minutes, bro. And I do like a full body. I just knock everything out, and then I get on the treadmill for about 40 minutes.
Oh, okay. So your cardio is last then, pretty much.
Yeah. I do my cardio last, and then whenever my girl she get off, we try to, we ain't got the kids. We try to go down to the belt line and probably do like a mile or
Man,
two.
tell your girl what's up, man. Tell her salute, man. We missed her, man, this year, man.
Hey, man, we're gonna be out there with a stroller next year, man. We're gonna be out there with
Hey, my daughter, man, she is a NAMM baby. My daughter, when she was born, she was at the first NAMM at 4 months, and she's been there ever since.
Dang.
Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
That's crazy, man. She's been there ever since. I remember when she was just like crawling and the whole nine. I was like, damn. And then just looking at her now being 6 years old, I'm like, damn, you've been here every year besides when the pandemic stuff was, when they shut that down. But other than that, she's been there ever since, man.
That's crazy. Yeah, I can't wait for stuff like that.
And you know what's really crazy is that she move around like she's a NAMM person now. She just moves around. She know it's crazy. She move around like it's her NAMM. It's I just be watching her like that's crazy.
Everybody knows. Everybody knows it now.
Man, you going in and out. I don't know why you kind of dip in and out. I don't know if is that on your end?
Hold on. It might be on mine. You know what?
Okay.
Because I'm down here in this basement, I might switch over. I might switch over to disconnect me. I might switch over to my computer because that's wired down here.
Okay. All right. You want me to disconnect you?
Yeah, disconnect me. Let me try it from the computer.
Okay. All right. We're gonna bring Bolo in. We're gonna chop it up with Bolo, man. Come on, man. It's long overdue. What's up with everybody, man? Let's do this roll call, man, to all the homies that's out here, man. Y'all hit that like button for me. Sam, what's up with it? Nate, what's up? Josh, Funny Form, Observer Thought, what's good? What's good? Coheed, 3-6, what's good? Slits, what's good with it, man? DJ Luke Beats, what's good? P-Town, what up with it? Born. Jack, what up with it? Mike Fresh, what's up? DC's own. Dre and Daryl, what's good? What's good? I see you. Hold on, we're going to bring Bolo back in here. Josh. DJ Cool Breeze, what's up? What up? I don't know if we got Bolo yet. Smokey, what's good? Black Sea, what up with it? Yeah, he going to have to come back in. OC Drummer, what up with it? Beats Like Rick, what up? Night Rider. What up with it, Els? Joe Fire, what's up, son? What's up, O-Dot? What's good? What's good? DeWitt, what's up with it? Rainmaker. Deuce, what's up with it? What up with it? Norm, what up with it, Norm? Artificial, what's good? What's good? What's good? We're going to try to get Bolo back in here, man. Get him back in here, man. I hope everybody's good, man. Tuesday, man. You know what it is. Y'all already know what it is. Hope y'all locked and loaded, man, because this is a short month, man. A very, very short month. Els, you back home, man, working, cooking up on some good stuff, bro? I hope everybody that came from now got inspired to get in the studio and get to cooking, man. Official Mac Juice, what's good, sir? Mark Thomas, what's up? What up? What up? This alive. We've been waiting for a ski bowling. Well, that's what's up. That's what's up. In the man, what up with it? In the man, what's good with my brother? We're gonna try to bring Bolo back. There we go. Bolo.
You hear me? You hear me?
I hear you. I hear you. I hear you.
Hold on, let me put my headphones on. I want no feedback coming in.
It's all good.
What is up? What is up? What is up?
What's up with it, Star?
Man, just chilling, man. Just chilling, man. Just chilling, man.
I know you, man. You still dipping in
dipping
and
in
out.
and
That's
out.
all
That's
right.
all
We'll
right.
work
We'll
it
work
out.
it out.
I don't know why it dips
in
in and out.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Everything's good on my end over here.
Yeah, just like you just come black in and black out. I don't know.
It's doing that now?
Yeah. And then I'm getting
feedback.
Well, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go back to the phone.
All right.
And then we'll just run it like that.
We'll run it like that.
And hopefully
I'm gonna bring you out.
Good. Yeah.
All right. We gonna get this right, y'all, so we can chop it up a little bit. What's good, Bright? What up with it, Yak? What's good? What's good, Bill Blast? What's good, sir? Yeah, I know we had a little echo chamber, man, so we could use our own effects on here, man. You know what I'm saying? Double O, double G, what's good? What's good? Kenner, what's up with it, Kenner? Hold on, we're gonna bring Bolo back in. Bolo. There we go.
Hold on. Yeah. All right. So we better right now?
Yeah. We good right now.
All right, hold on, let me turn this.
Oh,
let me turn this down. Hold on, why is this I don't know what's going on. You hear me?
I hear you. But I'm getting the feedback.
Oh, let me turn this little feedback. I got my mic on my camera. Hold on. Why is this got me on? It's got me on the.
Hold on. Let me see.
It's got me on my main camera right here.
That's wow. Hold on, you want me to go to the other one? Hold on, let me check this one out. Hold on.
Yeah, that's better right there. Yeah, take that middle one off.
All right, got you.
There we go.
Got you. There you go.
There we go.
Hey, that's what happens, man, when we get on here, man, these technical difficulties, but we work it out though. We got it, crack it though.
Yeah, we're gonna make it work. Hey, if we going for technical difficulties when it just paused, y'all just go, grab a few snacks and come right back.
Bolo, man, it was how'd you feel about this NAMM 2025, man? How'd you feel about it?
It was cool. I'm glad Akai came back. I'm glad they got the room back. I just didn't see too many products that I was like, oh my God, this is like the new thing. Now there was some good speaker companies that I like. I was expecting more from Avid. But I didn't see that. But yeah, it was a pretty good show. We was up with more. I was more towards like the Akai room more than anything. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, this was definitely Akai's time. You know what I mean? As far as what they put together, it was more entertaining for people to just to experience that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that definitely had more of a vibe more than anything, because they really didn't have anything that was there that was really worth talking about. You know what I'm saying? For us at this NAMM, I didn't see anything. You know what I mean?
Well, I can say that Warm Audio, they had some pretty decent stuff.
We lost you, Bolo. We lost him. Where you at, bro? Where you at? NAMM is getting. We lost him. Hopefully he get back in here. Hold on. NAMM is getting better, but a lot more to go to get back to the pre-COVID levels. Yeah, I agree with you. I did like rolling in court. That's what I didn't get a chance to see, is the chord. I didn't get a chance to see the chord at all. Like that's what I wanted to see. Joe Fox said Bolo got a dial up.
Man,
there you go, Bo.
Everybody calling me, man. Like, why when I come on the show,
hey,
everybody want to call. Now, any other time, nobody want to call me.
That's how it is. That's what going on with KL. KL puts his stuff on what is it, airplane mode or something like that?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to do that right now, man. Because this is crazy. Now, many times I've been on people's shows and stuff like this. I ain't never had no problems like this.
They know what the energy gonna be. You know what I mean?
There we go.
Mr. Hilby, what's up, Mr. Hilby? Shout
I
out to
think we
Mr. Hill.
good now. I think we good.
Okay. So no, you were saying about you were saying something about you was looking at something.
I was looking at Warm Audio was cool. The Presonus booth was real cool. Who else? My guy, DJ, Spanish DJ. Oh my God, I can't think of his name right now, but he had some really, really, really dope speakers. Um, he's been pushing those out for a while. I got to get his name. I'm gonna make sure I put him on my site or something that you can check him out. I wish y'all could have met because y'all would really be cool. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Like
okay,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
But other than that, I was expecting more from Avid side. But
Let's
at the time when I was kind of bringing that stuff up, I think they already have to get their boosts and stuff like that ready. So
so let's talk about that for a second. Let's talk about it because I know you've been, kind of like, advocating. Your post went super viral as far as what you were speaking about with the whole, Pro Tools standards, the industry standard and stuff like that. What inspired you to take that approach to just really speak on it like that? You know what I'm saying? From your own perspective.
well, like I said before, I had two different titles for that post. One was the title that I left on, and the other one was dot 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 anymore. And the reason why I left it is for two reasons. One, because of shock value, of course.
Of
Number
course.
one, I want to see if this is what YouTube has come to with the shock value. And
Right.
of course it happened. And then number
Right.
two, I really felt in my heart that okay, this is whose industry standard is this? Okay. And I had to think about it from back in the day because a lot of people fail to realize that I came up right when analog was crossing over into digital. I came up on Music Center Pro. I came up on Cakewalk. I came up on Cool Edit Pro. Before it turned to Audition, I came up on the Window, Cubase, and then I switched over to Pro Tools only because when I went down to Florida, only because when I went down to Florida, I seen this. It was one studio at that time that had a full Pro Tools rig, and they had a huge 42-inch TV in there, and it blew my mind. I was like, man, a 42-inch TV back then was huge.
That was crazy. That was groundbreaking. That was groundbreaking.
And
Yeah.
it was a flat screen, and so it
Wow.
was like, I'm like, yo,
Wow.
what is this? And then they had the Digio One, and then when I was going back and forth from school, for leaving Alabama, going to Tampa, and going back to school in Alabama, my guys, they had the first inbox. So I was kind of curious about it. And then what happened was they were when I moved back down to Florida, there were kids that were graduated from school, and when they was in school, they used to always talk about this Pro Tools, this Pro Tools, Pro Tools, Pro Tools. And then that's how I got introduced to it. I actually bought it in late 2005. I bought with the Inbox 2. I bought it. But I didn't really use it like that because it didn't have all the features that a lot of the other programs had. So so what happened was when it didn't have those features, I was still using the Window all the way up until I had moved to Atlanta. And when I was in Atlanta, I was kind of using both. I was using pretty much Cubase and the Window just like for production or whatever. And then I had my MP, I was running all my stuff through that. But I never really settled in the Pro Tools because even when I was doing that, I was still producing and recording a lot of stuff in Logic and stuff like that because it had the feature set that I needed. And there was a lot of things in Pro Tools. You got to think at the time it was limited on tracks. You couldn't clip gain in it at the time, and it was kind of clunky, especially for PC users.
Right.
I was
Right.
still a PC guy, so
Right.
it
Right.
was real clunky on PC, and you pretty much was forced to get a Mac with that. And so that's why I was like, how can this be an industry standard? Because you got to think as an industry as a whole. You can't think of it as you just being a Mac user or a PC user or this or that. And then you got to think at that time it was the rise of the home studio at that time as well.
Mm-hmm.
You got to think tape back then. tape was an industry standard. You had
Tape
to have
definitely,
tape.
definitely so, definitely
You know what
so.
I'm saying? Certain boards, the big board era, that was an industry standard. Like when you
Mm,
go into these big studios, but then
right.
once things kind of got into the home studio realm, how can we say that this is the industry standard? And that's the question I was just asking people in a sense. But
Mm-hmm.
you start running your mouth, man. You start speaking your truth.
That's definitely true. Definitely true. I mean, like I said again, I agree. I mean, I've always heard about the Pro Tools, Pro Tools. I've never was on Pro Tools like that. I was Logic. I started Logic when they had the little key, the little lock key for it.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And then of course you always heard of Pro Tools, but I always gravitated to Logic. So it never was an industry standard for me. You know what I mean? So I
yeah,
totally understand it, and I knew other people before anybody even had Pro Tools. I mean, I saw like studios had Pro Tools, but the average person, they just had, they had other stuff. Like you said, they had the Cakewalk, and they had just all the other, other stuff that was out there at that time. You know what I mean?
yeah. Like that's what I was trying to get at because I know a lot of people want to be in big studios.
Of
Because a
course.
lot of the comments were like, "Yo, all the big studios used it," which at a period of time, yes,
Yeah.
and even right now, like I was saying, like I'm not against Avid because I understand what a lot of projects come to me in Pro
Let me
Tools,
let,
but
let me let me say this real quick, just so I don't lose my train of thought. I don't know why people think when you speak out on something that you're against them. I think that's really, it's weird to me. It's weird because I mean, of course, when I spoke out on the Kai and the whole converter stuff, it's like I'm not against a company. I'm actually pro for you. I'm most of the time when you're not interested in anything, you keep it moving. It's like I don't entertain stuff I'm not intrigued by.
yeah,
So when you speak on stuff, it's because I'm concerned that you had something that's right there. You're right there. You know what I
hmm
mean? So we're just trying to add the input, and I feel we should. As consumers, as buyers, as stuff that we using in professional use. We should be able to say, hey, X Y Z. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So I don't know how that could get misconstrued to the point where you have a problem like that.
But that's the thing. I think that, like I was saying before, I think that everybody wants to be in a big studio.
Yes.
That's the goal. Let's get into a big studio. Let's work. Let's do this. And I want to be amongst that environment. And you thinking just because you're in that big studio that your life is just going to just dramatically change.
Yeah.
And you know as well as I know that sometimes being in those big studios, sometimes they look really good, but a lot of those studios are not tuned the way they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
And or you have to somebody who has been mixing in that particular room to know how that room sounds. Every room from a bedroom to a big studio, you have to know how that room sounds. And just because you might see people who have been convinced to say, "Oh, this is the standard," but what is the standard if the standard does not have a full set of features that have been around on other software for years?
Mm.
And that's why I was kind of like, um, that's why I want to pose that question and basically just say what I truly meant. Like I personally didn't feel that it was not the industry standard, and definitely not the standard anymore, especially with all of the updates that have come out in the recent years with Logic, with Studio One, with Ableton, with a lot of stuff. Pro Tools has really been left behind. And the reason why I say that is because right now, with the music industry shrinking, big studios closing, you have to have a program right now that does everything right now. Yeah, you have to have a program that you can record, mix, and produce in and have all the tools to do that. And if you do not have that, how can you say that you are the quote unquote industry standard? That's what I was trying to get at. I didn't say it all in the video, but it was so many people that was coming like, "Oh, what are you saying? Industry standard, whatever." But you have to set a standard to call yourself the standard.
Mm. Mm.
You know,
So
back then you were a standard. When you were producing, you had a standard where people came to you and said, his standard is here. I need to get to that point. I need to get me an EA ski beat because the standard is here. Dre standard was here. Warren G standard was here. Quick standard was here. Battle Cat
Right.
standard was here.
Yeah.
So you were a part of that standard. So if you had Joe Smo off the street and he had the same equipment that you had,
yeah,
does that make him the standard?
No, I get it. I get it. I get it. I totally get it. I totally get it. I totally get it. Yeah, I
You see what I'm
mean,
saying?
a lot of things definitely change where, there's really the standards is your standards pretty much. You know what I mean? I mean, that's kind of what it is. People ask me all the time, man, like I tell people, if you got Pro Tools, I'm just going to consolidate. I'm going to 0 to N. You get it. You can put it in Pro Tools or whatever you want to put it in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm not about to get Pro Tools to send you files, especially when you started shipping files and emails and all of that. It's like, nah, man, you're not going to get a Pro Tools session. That ain't what I work in. So I'll 0 to end it. You get it, and you can put it in any. It's going to be already arranged.
Yeah.
You can put it in whatever DAW you want to put it in. It's all good.
It's all good.
Yeah.
And then that's the way that, I had to do it a lot of times. And what people fail to understand is a lot of people who were commenting on my posts are not studio owners.
Yeah.
So, they have their own studio, but they don't they never actively had the type of people that came in through their doors like me. Like, you got to think from 2000 and basically 2003 all the way to 2014, I had a steady income of people coming in and booking studio time to where I lived off that. Like, I paid my house note, I paid the studio rent, I paid for equipment, I paid on trips, I did all that through that. So I was making money doing that. It wasn't a hobby, it was my actual career doing that. So I've dealt with so many people. And in that time, I dealt with a lot of people who did not use, they didn't use Pro Tools like that. So I had people that brought in sessions from different DAWs and stuff like that. So I went through all of that. The guy who was my mentor, he used Logic, and he would say a lot of times, he's like, man, I don't know where he said all the time, I don't know where all this Pro Tools stuff came from, man, but I don't know why everybody's not using Logic right now.
I mean, Logic is cold though.
It's cold.
Logic is cold.
I mean,
especially for production, for me, with the sounds they had in there, oh, it was bananas.
Yeah, like
crazy.
I made my biggest hits on Logic. On like producing everything on Logic, even though I was an MPC guy and everything, there was a period where I sat the 2500 down and I was producing on Logic because at the time, the producer who I was working with, he worked on Logic. And just for us to keep everything in order, okay, cool. Let me go ahead and find a way to get this Logic license. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Let me go ahead and get this license. Let me go ahead and get me a little $400 Apple computer, and let me learn this in 2 days and figure this out. And that's what I had to do. And my beats didn't change. Nothing didn't change. It's just that now I had to format things on this. Now, I did notice that, okay, I had to do a few things to kind of beef up the sound. But during that time, he had a SSL a J board in there.
Oh,
and you probably know he is. You probably know Shakespeare, Kevin Shakespeare
Briggs.
Yeah. So I was working with Shake.
Oh, okay.
And so we would run stuff through the board all the time to kind of heat things up.
Yeah, that's always been my conversation. It's like, some of the stuff, it's cool for what it is, but as you become a professional and you A/B, I'm into A/B-ing for real. So, you want to A/B. Can you get away with stuff? Of course. But, for me, I'm trying for perfection. I'm trying to make stuff sound as dope as it can sound. So, I like Logic, but you definitely want to warm it up. You definitely want to beef it up. So you're 3,000% correct. On a side note, though, I want to ask you, because I know you do your beat reviews, right? So how do you go about critiquing what you feel? Because of course, it's your platform, it's your critique. What is your critique? How do you assess somebody's beat where you like, yeah, this is it. I'm gonna tuck this one to the side. You know what I'm saying? Like, How do you go about that? What is your process of how you think about when you're critiquing beats?
The main process with me is who I'm working with at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm working with, and let's just throw
no, hold on. Let me rephrase it. I'm talking about when you do your beat reviews. When you do your beat reviews, and you picking who you think has a dope beat, that's what I mean.
Okay, so basically, it's just whatever within the first 15, 20 seconds it gets me.
Mm.
And it doesn't necessarily, like I tell people a lot of times, it doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be the best mix. Or it does not have to be composed the way it's just super, all these sounds and things are moving around like we're in a beat battle. I try to tell people I'm not looking for beat battle beats. Okay, I'm not looking for that. That's cool. I'm looking for beats that I can hear an actual song being made on. So if I can hear a song being made on that beat, and then it captures my attention, and then I'm looking in the comment section, I'm seeing fire emojis and everything like that, then I might say, you know what, this might be one of the ones, but then at the end of the day, it's still some beats that I picked that even the chat be like, yo, I don't know about that one. Why? It's because I can hear something further than what a lot of people can hear, because like you and me, when we listen to stuff, we listen to songs. We listen to melodies like, okay, cool. I can hear a certain person, or I can hear one of my writers on this, and I know what they can do to this particular beat. Because if you really go back in time, some of the best songs were not just what we would call the best beats. They were the perfect beat for those lyrics.
By far.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what I listen for when it comes to that. Because, you know, sometimes they'll be in the comments like, I don't know about that, Bolo. I think that beat wasn't it. And he's like, yo, you got to understand where I'm coming at with this. Like, this could be, or this beat can have this type of production, or I can take this out and make this. Prime example, somebody like Drake and 40. Like, you know, it's tons of producers that send them beats. And by the time that beat actually comes out on Drake's album, they don't strip like 8 sounds off the beat. But they've heard something in that beat to say, that's dope. But take this off, take that off, and we're just gonna leave this. And the producer's like, dang, I thought we was gonna add more to it. But sometimes you gotta leave that openness for artists to get on there. So that's what I'm listening for a lot of times.
How many producers you think that's around in 2025 that can really hear like that, like really be able to say, I hear the potential in this XYZ? You know, how many producers you think that's really around today? Because I mean, there is definitely a new generation, because that used to go on a lot, and you know as well as I know, we used to have A&Rs. I remember when I had my demo with the A&R, I was like, man, this is crazy. But I was kind of advanced, so I kind of had everything ready for him, so he didn't have to think about it. But then you had some A&Rs that would hear a reference. Do you remember the days, Bolo, where you would have a demo and they would say, man, I like this. And they would give you a demo budget. You remember the demo budget?
Oh, yeah.
You remember that, though, right?
Yeah.
They would give you a demo budget. They would get maybe $5 or $10 grand and say, listen, I like the potential. Go and do this correctly. Come back, make this sound better, this and that. And that would determine if they wanted to sign you, because they kind of heard the potential in what you were doing. You know what I mean? You remember that, right?
Yeah, they would get you, you know, you take that budget, but they'll make sure you get into the right studios. They'll try to link you up with certain people. I think the last person that I seen do that was a young artist by the name of My Shine. And Doe and Lacey had him, and we actually did his project, his EP project. But I think he had at that time it was like 2013. I think he had like a $30,000 budget. It was crazy.
Yeah, man, that's crazy.
And then
but they can write that off. I mean, I don't think people understand that's nothing for them. You know what I'm saying? They have allocated budgets for that whole year. You know what I'm saying? So they got to get rid of that money some way anyway. You know what I mean? And
that's why, and we're gonna probably talk about that. That's why you start seeing a lot of people getting signed in that fourth quarter, which I don't. And I try to tell artists a lot of times, hey, do not. If you're gonna sign in that fourth quarter, try to get it right before everybody leaves the office.
That's right.
So when everybody get back in, they can start doing your radio runs and everything from that. But
fourth quarter is a dangerous quarter for a lot of people, because one, that's where they bring their powerhouse out. But if they sign you around there, a lot of times they got money they got to get rid of.
They got to get
You know
rid
what I'm
of it.
saying? And most of the time, they'll use you as a write-off. They'll sign you just to get rid of it, and then you drop going into that following year. It's a crazy game.
And see, this is stuff that people don't know. Like
They
they
don't know.
think that okay,
They don't
they
know.
think that okay, I'm just doing beat reviews and
Right.
doing music reviews on
Right.
on the MPC and stuff like that. But
Right.
then stuff like this, I do want to talk about, and I'm glad I'm on this platform to talk about it, because when I try to talk about things like this on my platform, people don't want to hear that. But they want to
Yeah.
be in the music business, but they don't want to hear the
This
truth about what happens.
the hardest part that we'll always face is that we've been through it. It's like your kids. You know, you got to teach your kids, but your kids are going to learn from the outside world what they think, and they don't think that you are qualified enough to teach them, even though you are. But there's so many influences that it's hard to figure out what is the truth for them. You know what I mean? Especially today. Especially today. It was different back then. You kind of, you had a little bit more guidance and more consistency. Now everybody's everywhere. Everybody knows something that they don't really know. And they tell you information. And a lot of people tell you stuff from what they heard, but they never went through it. It's a very dangerous game for this music community. Which brings me back to what I was going to say about the A&R thing. Why do you think that when A&Rs would give you that budget, because they could have gave that budget to anybody, but they seen a certain thing. Why do you think it was so important for them to say, you know what, I'm going to give you this money to make you do this better? What was the goal in that, you think?
Well, we gotta dip a little further back. You got to remember that A&Rs back in the day were actually musicians.
Yes.
A lot of them were actually musicians, or if even though some of these companies, they might have been owned by people who were not musicians, but they would hire the best people that were ear trained.
Yep.
So a lot of times these A&Rs would hear things because their ears were trained to hear certain things, and then they would say, "Hey, I hear it, but let's try to get this deal. But here, we're gonna give you this money. We're gonna get you in here, and then I'm gonna set you up with this writer. I'm gonna set you up with this producer. I've already talked to them already. They already know what the deal is. They already know this is a demo. But then if this demo comes out and everything is good and the label likes it, you got to understand that I gotta eat and they gotta eat, and you're gonna eat too. But we're gonna structure this deal a little bit different." So a lot of times I think that when you had a trained A&R that hears that. And then plus you had to think at the time the budgets were a little bit different at that time. You know what I'm saying? And then back then you didn't have the YouTubes, you didn't have the Spotifys, you didn't have all of the stuff that we have right now, because you got to think, in order for them to hear a demo, you had to record it somewhere back then.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times that was on a 4-track.
Most of the time it was on a 4-track. You're absolutely correct. You're
an
absolutely
8-track.
correct.
And the sound quality, it wasn't that great.
So that's to bring me to the main point of where I'm going at. You just said the sound quality. So you have an A&R that sees the potential, and you just said that most of them was musicians, which is correct. But one of the biggest things that people don't understand on why they did it is because they seen the potentials, but they understood if they take it to their boss, they need to hear the quality of it.
That's right.
Because they still have to be accountable for bringing it to their boss, which don't know sound.
That's
They don't know how to reference a rough mix and see the potentials of it. They just the check writers.
That's right.
You dig what I'm saying? They're the check writers. This is what I teach all the time. I tell people, your quality and your sonics will get you way further than just working, because check writers don't understand, oh, I can see the potentials in that. We don't have A&Rs no more. So we kind of have to be our own A&Rs. We have to be able to say, look, I know this is cool, but I need to tighten this up. I need to make sure this is right. I need to get this in pocket, because when you go to a check writer, all they know is the songs that they like to play. And they're like, oh, that sound quality, this don't sound right. They can't tell you. They can't be descriptive on how this could possibly work and how that could possibly. They don't do that, because that ain't around anymore. Those eras are gone. Most cats that's in business are just in business for business. And if they hear it, they're like, okay, I'll take it. You know what I mean? Yeah. By the way it sounds. So I say all that to say, that's a big reason why them development deals was great, because you probably had the potential. So back then they would develop you saying, I hear that. Even though that's rough, I can hear that. This is dope, man. Go back. Here you go. Here's $5 grand or whatever. Go in there. We put you in a good studio. This and that. Go in there, tighten that up. So because they weren't doing it because they were the A&R. They was doing it because I want to submit this to my boss.
That's right.
And my boss is not going to understand this like this. They're not going to understand that not like that. But I get it. So it's a disconnect now.
And that's why I was telling people, and because I remember Pre-Sonics just put something up on the page. Shout out to them.
Say that again because you dropped off. Say that again.
My bad. Shout out to Pre-Sonics.
Pre-Sonics. Shout out.
They put something on their page. They was asking what's more important, the songwriting, or the mix. And I said the mix. And a lot of people were saying the songwriting, but what I was saying was a lot of people right now are focusing more on the quality of the sonics and of the flow of the song now than necessarily the actual song. Because right now, you can make a song right now and not even sing a word, but you can just hum out the melody.
That's facts.
And then you'd be like, oh my God, that's crazy. But then you can have a song that might be a really good song, but the snares might be too high, or this might be crazy, or this whatever, and things get muffled up, and people will skip that now.
I want you to stop right there. That's my point of what I'm trying to say. You could be trash as an artist, have just whatever melody, but if it's tight in the pocket, you have a great chance to go where you need to go because it's tight in pocket. You know what I'm saying? You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. I hear it all the time.
And I want to say this. I am not the best mixing engineer. By far, I'm not. I'm good at what I do. It's certain things when I hear a mix, I'm like, dang, I cannot figure that out. But you know what I do? I go to somebody who can.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
So if I can't get this snare kick right, guess what? I know an 18-year-old kid right now who is perfect on kicks, basses, and snares.
Right.
And they'll be like, nah, Bolo. And they always go, nah, I'm like, dang, I ain't that old yet. You know?
Man, you know what, Bolo? That's on that note though. That's a blessing though, bro. Man, to be an unk or OG or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I think that I don't know why people try to ridicule that so much. It's like, man, when a person call you unk or OG, bro, some people might take it as, oh, okay, I'm trying to clown you or disrespect you, but when you secure in who you are, you got to understand most of these kids are not going to be OGs. They're not going to be unks. One, because they live a destructive life.
Right.
Their life is so destructive and they're programmed with stuff that they will never be able to be an unk or an OG because they're not learning from the cats that they call unks and OGs, teaching the stuff we went through so they can learn, hey, man, I'm telling you what you're about to face. You know, and you know it. And I tell anybody, if you don't understand it from that point of view, then understand it as a parent.
That's right.
As a parent, you know, you could tell your kids, listen. And if they listen to the streets more than they listen to you, they're gonna have to be accountable for what they're gonna deal with because at some point in time, they're out of your control. They get to a certain age, you can't. I remember, man, I'll just give you a quick story. I got into a situation as an older adult. My mom, you know what I'm saying? My dad, you know, they always been there for me. It was a situation that was out of my control, but I got into it. And it was some stuff I had to go through the court system.
Yeah.
But I seen the pain in my mom's eyes. She's like, I wanna take you out of this, but she couldn't. There was nothing you can do. I'm a grown man now. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you're just trying to make sure that when you talk to these kids about music, when you talk to them about life, whatever, when a person say unk and OG, that is a salute to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we should be proud of that. We should really be proud of that. So I just thought I'd comment on that when you just said that.
No, yeah. like that's what people fail to realize when it comes to stuff like this. Like, I have no problem being the older person in the room right now.
Yeah.
Right? I have no problem with that. Some people feel like, oh man, don't it feel kind of weird when you're around these kids? You feel because they still respect me the same way because I still bring life, I still bring energy to the room, and I bring a lot of knowledge. A lot of times when I go into the rooms, they ask me stuff about the past. And it's crazy because their past is only like 10 years ago. So so
Right, right, right. Right. Right,
you gotta
right,
think some of
right,
these kids are
right,
only like 22, 23 years old. So
right,
their past is 10 years ago. And I'm like, okay, bruh, like we were doing the same things 10 years ago. They're like,
right,
so
for
how
sure.
was it, you
For
know,
sure.
in 2015, how was it producing back then? The same damn way. Like I say, bro, you gotta
Right,
ask me something like 20 years. Like it's gotta at least be
right,
20 or 30 years back, you
right,
know.
right, 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 right.
And then so a lot of times they'll ask you questions and then they want you to show them certain things on how things used to be. They're very intrigued about using hardware. They're very intrigued about tape. They're very intrigued about all this stuff that they see in plugins, but they don't necessarily they've never seen it before. I bought a cassette tape to a session one day.
Oh, wow.
I bought a
Wow.
TDK cassette tape,
Yes, sir. I'm looking at it
and I
right now
brought it.
as you saying it. I'm looking at it in my Task Cam 238.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I brought that TDK, and I brought it. I said, look at this. It was the clear TDK,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I said, look at this right here. I said, y'all know what this is, and they all just sitting there like, bruh, oh what? That's a real tape. I said, yeah. I said, you see this? You see this tape right here? I said, I don't care what mix you've done. This tape is always going to have the highest highs when you pop it into your tape deck. You
Right.
know the
Right.
highs is going to be popping on this particular tape.
Right.
And so they like, what you mean? I'm like, well, I said every tape is not created equal.
Right.
I said you had the Maxwells, you had the TDKs, you had different tape manufacturers that, depending on what tape you actually put your stuff on, the mids might sound this way, the bass might be more, the highs might sound this way. And I
Yeah.
said, and I said it's the same way with DAWs. It's the same way with equipment, same way with certain plugins. I said how you use it is how you use it and what you like. I
Right.
said this was my favorite tape. I said, but this was not the master tape. I said, because back in the day, to actually dub tapes, you had to put it on those really high quality tapes back then.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And how the tape in the CD man was.
I know.
Those high
No.
quality tapes were gold back then. So
Yeah.
and so and we sat there for almost an hour and I was explaining this and it's like, yo, I can't believe, this is how it happened. I said, yeah. And I said every tape sounded differently.
Right.
I said, so I said, and I said, that's what made things so serious back then when you had your tape and your CD collection. That
Mm.
was a serious business. If
That
somebody
was
stole your CD, bro, that
yeah.
was,
That was a problem. That
you
that
mean
was
to,
that was that was a huge problem. That was
hold
a
on, bro,
problem.
what my CD went?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I
What?
know, man. I know exactly what you're talking about. That I used to have a case with the zipper on there. I used to have to put a little lock on there. Like, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
so so you got to think when it comes to that point, and it's a segue to what I'm trying to get now is there was more of a part of an ownership with a relationship to a consumer to an artist back then.
Right. Right.
So when you look at how the main thing is, like I was telling those kids, I said the reason why a lot of us producers and people that are unks or older people, how we take this more seriously is because we understand the relationship from musician to consumer and to consumer to musician. Like they don't really have you might have people that follow you online,
Yeah.
but they don't have fan clubs like back in
That's
the day.
that's factual. That's very factual. Very, very
You
factual.
you would have a
Very factual.
president in every major city, and then when you come into town, they will organize for you. They'll get things together. You would have to go meet your fan club.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
You
I mean, I
know,
remember I remember flying and they would have a point person take you right to the store or the independent store, and there'd be fans there, and you sign an autograph. The whole yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
like that's what's missing because the whole outside of the music business right now is a little different. And when I'm in the studio, I try to have these conversations with these kids, and they're just mesmerized, like, dang. So all this other stuff used to happen rather than us just being in the studio, we releasing it, and then it's just online for everybody to consume. And so, like, to the point that you were saying, it's like it's a good thing to be in here because you got to think about all the people that came to NAMM and they were excited to see all of the OGs there.
They were. And it was and I have to say that the energy was great. Everybody had great energy. Everybody. It was just great energy. No, it don't matter who you are, or how big you were, or if you were big. Everybody energy was just dope. It was just dope. Super dope.
You know, it was kind of overwhelming too because you be trying to, like, okay, let me just kind of just vibe a little bit. Then it's like, oh, there's another one here. He just, who is this? Okay,
yeah,
okay, he a part of the crew too. Okay, all right, so we're gonna let him rock for a little minute. I was having to leave out for a little minute, man. I had to.
Did you?
I was like, I'll be right back, man. I'm finna go to the other building real quick. I was over there in the rock building. I was like, ain't nobody gonna know me over here.
Hey man, hey, you can't get lost, man. You could be at that NAMM and not see somebody you thought you was gonna see just because it's so big.
Oh yeah.
And you could get lost in there. You know what I mean? But no, you're absolutely right. You know, I want to ask you another thing. You know, that I was really just thinking about, you know, because you was just talking about, you know, just how things was done and stuff. Do you think that right now, being that it's so many tools for us, because there's always a new tool, do you think that's really helping the community or taking away? Now, I want you to hear me close. Not so much for people that understand it, but for new kids that's coming in, they have all of these things that's going on. Do you think that helps the new generation of kids, or do you feel like it can hinder them?
Okay, it's kind of like a catch-22 with that one because for me, to be honest with you, if for me it's being in the game, a lot of these new tools are hindering people. But for a kid that is coming into the game, these are the only tools that they know, in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always going to be that type of a thing because, like I was saying before, when the digital age came in, a lot of people from the analog age was like, this is too much, y'all doing too much. You know, this is taken away from what it is. You know, even from some people were mad when records were being made. Like, okay, now you're taking money out of our pockets because we can't tour as much right now because y'all can listen to the records at home instead of paying to come see us. It's always going to be like that. But from my point of view, if the tools are used to advance rather than you're just making tools to make money. Because there's a lot of companies right now that are just like, right now you have 5,500 clippers right now. You know, you got,
yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
You got compressors galore, which all use the same code. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
There's none of these, pretty much all of these compressors pretty much do the same thing because you pretty much use the same base code. Some of them might add another code if you turn this dial or whatever, but it's pretty much all the same. But let's just say, for instance, our good friends, Akai, NPC, right?
Okay.
Let's say, for instance, all the tools that they added in to the NPC. It's great that they added those tools in, but for me, you know, just me being honest, I think it took away from them being what they initially were the MIDI production center, right?
We talked about that at NAMM too.
Yeah. So right now, I got my MPC, got my boards and everything, but I cannot use them the way that I could use them before because of the newer technology. And now I use my MSB and LSB stuff, so I don't have to be sitting around here reaching over to this board, or if I got two other boards meted up in the back, I got to go behind everything and move it when I can just go ahead and just change my values right on the MPC and pick the sounds I want on my MPC without even having to touch anything. I can't do that right now because there's a small glitch in it. But I work around it. That's a good thing about being an older producer. We know how to do workarounds.
I think that's the main point that I'm saying is that, you know, there's one thing when you know what to do and how to move, and there's another thing when you're just doing and you don't really know what you're doing. And some of this stuff can be super overwhelming, because talking to the young kids, they're just kind of just winging it, and not studying it. I don't know if it really helps when you're getting so many. Is just so much flooding, and the way things are marketed today, it's always in your face. Like I keep seeing stuff about this plug in here, this plug. It become crazy after a while, and I just be wondering, like, man, how, because as as well as I know, young kids process stuff totally different when you're trying to keep up.
Yeah.
Keeping up can hurt you.
Yeah.
So, I just wonder, is that really?
It's a lot though. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Like people like right now, even with the streaming stuff, right?
Yeah.
People like, yo, Bolo, you should add this, you should add that, you should add this and add that. And I'm like, and I had to say the other day, I was like, listen, you got to understand something. I get constant technology thrown at me every single day to where on certain days I can't touch none of this stuff because I'm just bombarded with so much new technology all the time to where I have to take a day to just learn something. And
Right.
even sometimes I'm like, man, I don't feel like going on OBS and stuff like that and trying to figure all this stuff out. I just want to just go on live and
Right.
just do my thing.
Right.
You know
Right.
what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right. Right.
Which I might need to go ahead and get this little stream deck. I like how this thing look right here, man. This look like this look like the deal right here. But a lot of times I'm not sitting here trying to figure out so much stuff. Like I can't like people come in my comments, hey, have you tried out such and such new appreciator plugin? No.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Yeah.
make no sense for me to do it because number one, it's already that is already here. It's already done. And back then, I didn't use no appreciators. I used
Yeah. That's right.
and then I got it done.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And if we
Right.
didn't get it done the first try, we kept doing it until we got it done.
Well, so let's stop right there. So, do you think that that's kind of the difference of right now, where you had to really work, you kind of had to use your ears, you kind of had to really dig in your soul to do your music, because the limitations, what I mean, compared to now, it's almost an entitlement feeling like you have to have everything at your disposal. And I think it takes the creative juices away from you when you have everything at your beck and call at every given time. Don't you feel like that kind of it kind of caused the music to kind of be somewhat sterile now, because we're not really creating from our heart and really using and applying our mind. Everything is kind of thinking for us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that?
No, definitely. That's why a lot of the music from these younger kids, especially the melodies, a lot of this stuff sounds exactly the same because it's something about transferring from your brain down through your body to your fingers.
Right.
It's something about that.
Right.
And with that, it gives its own character and its own personality to that.
Right.
You're never going to play the same thing twice.
Right.
So
right.
I remember, I forgot the guy who has a YouTube channel. He does a lot of the stuff with the Michael Jackson stuff. He talks about the different.
Oh, you talking about the dude with the hair?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
And he was talking about the guy who was playing the bass on
the black guy. Was the black guy? Yeah.
And they were saying that that on every take, like I think it was like one take where just them adding the da 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 doom 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 doom, just adding that one little part in, everybody just felt the groove a little bit better on it, and they played the groove so much better that that's the version that we hear now. And they did several takes of it, but they say just by adding that, it gave different life. And so right now, what you haven't, and you gotta think back then they didn't have
Anthony Marnelli. That's what they said. Marnelli.
Yeah. You got to think back in that time, they didn't have nowhere near the amount of stuff that we have right now.
For sure.
But some of the best musicians were there. Some of the best music was made on what they had.
Right.
And right now, with so many different things that we have, like you got to think, like I was talking the other day on the last video I made about everybody was upset about man, we don't have that many sounds. We don't have that many sounds. And I'm like, man, some of y'all got 50, 60,000 sounds
Yeah.
that you probably only touched maybe not even a tenth of that. But why do we need more sounds? Why do we need more sounds than MP? Why do we need that? We
Yeah.
don't need it. I say I certainly don't need it because I got my set 30 or 40 sounds that I need, and I'm fine with that, and I
Right.
can make do with that. I have my
Right.
drum kits. I'm fine with that. You have
Right.
your kits. You're fine with that. You have
Yeah.
your certain sounds. And that's what makes things special because I can get all the sounds in the world, but it's not going to change how I produce.
That I think that is one of the biggest keys that I see what's going on with all the technology and stuff is that people need to understand you still need to know how to produce. You still need to know how to make that production be what it's supposed to be. I don't think these tools are going to make you no better. I don't think these machines are going to make you no better because most people are just kind of just doing it because it's to do, but they're not studying it. Like I look at everything like martial arts. You have to practice everything you do. I don't care what it is. Rather, even as being a parent, we learn stuff every day. We're like, okay, you know what? I did that wrong. I'm about to correct this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because there ain't no blueprints to being a parent, period.
No.
There's none. Even being a mentor, saying you got a good information, but then you have to start saying some people don't interpret information a certain way. So now you might have to change that just so that you can capture people that, because you might say stuff and they just instantly just black out because, it's like, put it like this here. Have you ever seen a professor? And some people love their professors, some people hate them. Because some professors just like, nah, 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 and you be like, dude, what the what's up, bro? And you have some professors, they learn how to adapt. They're like, okay, this student gets this like this student gets this like that. You know what I mean? So there's really no blueprints, but learning your craft is one of the biggest things that I try to tell people. I don't think none of this stuff is going to help cats. You get a 3,000, you get a vintage gear. I don't think that's going to change anything. You know what I mean? As far as the way you go about your production.
And that's what I was saying a lot about people when they do this group think and they do the bandwagon stuff.
Yeah.
Now, truth be told, and if I'm lying, I'm flying. Y'all know I love Kai. I love Native Instruments. I love everything. But if something ain't right, I'm gonna speak my mind about it.
As you should.
Right? But it's not to down them, not to say anything. I'm just saying, okay, this is what, if we're going in this direction, let's go ahead and if we're gonna go there, let's go there. You know what I'm saying? In a sense.
Right.
If we're not gonna go there, I'm cool.
Right.
Now, there were certain things that I said, okay, at this point, this is what I think we should have right now at this point. And even you at a certain point, you were saying, hey, this is, if we're gonna say this is the flagship type of beat machine, we need to have this sounding the right way.
For sure.
And some people were saying, oh man, but when you mix it, it can sound better, which is true.
That's true.
You got really good mix engineers, they can really do it. But for the masses of people out here, who's gonna have $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 to go to a top mix engineer and
That's
get
right.
it done?
That's right.
So why not have it to the best to where we can get it now?
Let me ask you a question real quick before you go to what was one of your favorite MPCs sonically? What was one of your favorite MPCs sonically?
Well, you got to think the only ones I had were the 2000 XL, the 1000, the 2500, and I used the 4000.
But which one that you like, that you really like? If you had to say sonically, you like, which one would it be? You say?
Definitely the 2000 XL.
Okay, so stop right there. What made that sonically the best one for you? What made it where you felt like, man, this is crazy? Like what gave you that feeling and make you say that?
Man, I'll be honest with you. I had an old snare,
Mm-hmm.
and the way the snare used to crack on it. It was something about like the top end. It was like you felt the full dimension of the snare. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what it was. Now, 2500 sounded very good too. The 25 and the 1000 sounded exactly the same to me.
Yeah.
And basically the 1000 was a 2500. It was just small. I should have
Yeah.
never got rid of my 1000. I love that thing.
I got the 1000 back there. You see that blue light back there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the 1000 with the JJOS.
Oh yeah, yeah. See that
Yeah.
the 1000. Only reason why I got rid of it because I got the 2500, but they both sound the same. The 4000 sounded really good too.
Yeah, I love that
But it
4000.
was something about that XL with, especially with, especially like if you sample something like a James Brown snare or something like that, it just did something to those snares. It just added like a grit or something to it.
So stop right there. That's my point. My point is when you get flagship, it supposed to enhance what you do in your production. You dig what I'm saying? That's the whole part of a flagship to me. And if you've never had a 3000, that's exactly what a 3000 do. A 3000, man, you start sampling snares, man, you just like, oh my, it almost sound like it's just mixed. I don't know what it is, but it sounds like it's amazing. And even if you just do the 2-track in that machine, it's bananas. It's bananas even before you hit the outs. That's crazy to me.
Yeah,
That's
I
crazy to
never.
me.
Not my neighbor. He has a 60, and one of the guys bought a 3000 over there. When the whole debate was going on.
Yeah.
My thing was with that debate. What I was telling people was, let's not go ahead. We understand that they did have a better conversion rate in there. Things did sound better, but let's not just basically poop on everything Akai has done over the years and say like that. That was because there was a lot of people that were jumping on it. Oh man, it's trash. All this stuff is trash. It's trash. It's trash. It's trash. It's trash. What I was saying was, yeah, they do sound better. But let's not say the whole everything from Akai now is just
I mean,
complete.
dude, and I think, and see, that's the thing about information because I felt like I was very clear. I mean, I love the Kai workflow for me.
Yeah.
I mean, it works for me. I have it.
Yeah.
X, the live, So nobody is saying that the workflow, but some people will take it. They're not listening. They're not listening. I'm saying the flagship. I'm just saying your flagship. We can do a little bit better on these converters, bro. And that's
Yeah.
it. That's my conversation. Period. All the other stuff is what it's supposed to be. The 37. I mean, I love the 37. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? You can get on there from the keys, and I think that's the perfect combination
Yeah.
for me. You know what I mean? Especially if you're talking about just making concepts and putting stuff together, as far as workflow wise. I love that. You know what I mean? But I think people just need to really listen, man. When we talk flagship, I give this example all the time. I said, man, that's like buying $100,000 Benz and say, hey, man, can you give me some extra two more engines? Because it's not. It's like, bro, like the engine supposed to be there. That's
Yeah.
it. I've never been in my career where I've had to enhance something that's supposed to be enhanced. And that and I'm seeing a lot of companies doing that too. I'm starting to see that there's understanding that most people don't listen.
Yeah.
They don't listen to sound. They see everything. So everything is a see, it's a visual thing.
Yeah.
And this is what's happening when you're not using your ears. You don't be able to tell. Most people bypass even the little converters that's in the MPC. Like when you're dragging from your computer right to your drum, your MPC, and you're making your beat, and then you export it back, you didn't hit anything.
I
So
just I
how
just
would you
said that the other
so
day.
how would you understand where EA Ski is coming from when you don't even use the converters at all to even be able to hear where I'm coming from?
I just said it the other day. I said, me personally, it's just something about, and I'm saying anything. It's just something about when sound, that heat travels through those cables,
Right.
hits a preamp.
That's right.
I don't care what preamp you got.
That's right.
It's something about that sound.
That's right.
And even coming from my iPad, coming from the MPC, coming from the machine, coming from anything that I'm using, when it travels and it hits those pre's, and I don't care if you have a Universal Apollo, an Apogee, or even a Focusrite, it's just something about that sound when it hits it and people notice it. As much as people like to say, oh, it doesn't make no difference, People notice it every time when I go into studios and I play a beat and I'm like, yo, hey, listen, I didn't mix it. I just came directly out of the box. I'm just gonna play it. So let me just turn it down. And when I play it, they'll be like, yo, what program you mixed this in?
Right.
I didn't mix it. I just turned some sounds up and
Right.
down.
That's what it do. That's what
And
it do.
And then the artist will be like, yeah, I want to hop on that one. Even though it might not be the best beat played that night, it just has that pocket to it,
right?
To where it almost feels like the music is like a donut. It's like the music is around all that, and that hole right there is for where the artist is supposed to be at.
Bro, it's crazy. I'm looking at this ASRX Pro right now. You know, I give props to my fans and everybody that's out there, everybody on the chat that kept telling me about the ASRX Pro. They said that sonically, Ski, it sounds good. It sounds good. So you know, I've had the ASR 10, I had the EPS, so I wasn't really tripping off that. And then I always heard it was buggy, so I'm nah.
Yeah.
But shout out to my brother Jay Ham. He's like, bro, I got you. You know, he fixed everything up. You know, got the new update, so I got it, bro. What you're just saying is exactly what it is. I'm talking about when you sample into that thing and that snare comes out and it hits through that thing. It's unreal. It's unreal. It's almost like I don't really got to do too much more. It's almost like it's just right there for me to do. Most of the beats that I play is just coming directly out of the machine. So people are like, man, you mixed that. I said, I ain't mixed that, bro.
So just, hold on, Ski. Shout out to K Carter.
K Carter, what's good?
I see you doing your thing again, K. Hey, K.
Hey,
K gonna look out, man. That's one thing I can say about K. He gonna look out.
Hey, K, thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate the super chat, man. Hey, man, Bolo said, then that's what it is. K, what's good? What's good?
Boy, K is always gonna look out, man. Shout out to K, man.
Big shout out to K. Hold on, let me give a couple more shout outs that I missed. Room at the top of the studio, man. I might have missed you. Hold on, sir. Thank you. It's not about how many drum sounds we have. It's about how good they are and how we know which to use. Respect Bolo and EA Ski. Much love, Room. Thank you, sir. Let me go back and get some because I don't want to miss our conversation because you know we deep in it. Yak, what's up, Yak? Thank you, sir. I appreciate you too, sir. Grilla Mad Beats, what's good? Loving the conversation. Seeing Yeski and Bolo giving us jewels. Thank you, guys. One love. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. K Funk, thank you, K Funk. I see you. I see you. I see all the riders, man. Funny Farm, what's good, sir? Much love, man. Cold Heat Studio, what's up with it, my brother?
You gotta you gotta say cold heat.
Cold Heat, man, and blessings to your new son, man, and your family, man. Black Sea Beat, what's good? What's good, sir? Love, man. Love to everybody that's on here, man. Sam, thank you, brother. I appreciate you.
Hey, we got my neighbor on here too, man. We got Said Mac on here, my neighbor,
Said
man.
Mac, what's up with it, Said?
Hey, Said got everything over here. Hey, Ski, whenever we meet up with Said, bro, you got to check out. He got a nice little, he got a nice little vintage stuff over at the crib,
man, come on, man. Say no more, man. You know what I'm saying? When I come out that way, man, we let's get it in. Let's make it happen. You know what I mean? But what I was saying, though, Els, there to go. Els is a good dude too, man. Els,
Els, yeah. Shout out to Els, man.
Hey, Els is at NAMM, man. He was about it. You know what I loved about Els? He was a student. He just sat there the whole time, met people. I introduced him to a lot of legends, Focus, and everybody. He was just sitting up there, just you could tell he's processing, man. Just
definitely. Yeah,
he's processing. He is processing. But yeah, man, you know, a lot of times, man, it's just when I post stuff, it's just coming directly from it. And that's what I love about it, because it is coming through the electric, it's coming through the cores, it's coming through that circuitry, and that creates that energy, you know? And that's something even Quick was talking about, which was crazy because somebody sent that to me. And I hadn't heard him say that until somebody sent that to me. But I'm like, yeah, that's exactly right. Even with tape machines, you know?
You got to understand, what people fail to understand is we listen to music in analog.
Right.
So you can
oh, hold up, your brother said Max said what it is. Looking forward to it. I mentioned your drums in my last video. Keep up the man. Thank you, Said. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yeah, Said a good dude, man. Said a real good guy.
Nah, man, you hang with some good guys, man. And your boy C-Note, man, good dude, man. Shout out to C-Note, man. Shout out. You can just tell, man, that discernment. That's why I say, man, when you meet people in person, That's why I tell everybody to come out, man, because I know we got a community here and we talk to people, but when you get a chance to see them, you can kind of look in their eyes and feel their energy, you know, because it's just that I'm an energy person. Like, you know, we could talk, chat all day, but when I see you, it's just like, that's why me and you so tight. When we see each other, we're like, what's up, Bolo? Bolo getting his 2-step in. I'm like, come on, Bolo, let's get it.
Yeah, y'all know, and y'all know that boy had the light feet in there, man. I had some light feet that day.
Oh man, no, go ahead. I took you from what you were saying. You were saying about the
but basically right now, like, I love all of the tools that they're, and like, don't get me wrong, I love the tools, like how you can go into the MP, you can slow stuff down, you can bounce it down, you can do essentially everything like on FL Studio. You can do a lot of the stuff right now on the MPC that way, which is cool. But what I try to stress to people is when you get done with your beats, just try it. When you get done with your beats, take some cables. I don't care if they're the cheap Hoser cables. I don't care what it is, but transfer it back into your computer by using the 1/4-inch cables, okay? I use TRS cables, you know what I'm saying, for the noise value.
Yeah.
But run it through there, and I'm telling you, your snares. And then sometimes don't be scared to crank it up and hit it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? To hit that pre a little bit, to try to get as much as you can. Sometimes with, like, when I'm doing my drum kits, I'll make a drum inside of the MPC and I'll actually hit it into the red a little bit to get that distortion on there without having to add distortion on it. And I'll bring it back down just to give it that crunchy sound or whatever. Or sometimes I'll change the into the vintage mode and stuff like that on there, or I'll run it through the 2500 to try to get that sound in there. But don't find what's going to sound good immediately, so you don't have to do all the extra stuff. Like, I can almost guarantee you, by the time you run your stuff inside your computer, if you do have to make any changes, they are very, very minimal.
Right.
You should not have to be getting these songs, these tracks, and you got these crazy EQ curves going all over the place. You should be able to do a little bit of here, a little bit of there, and you're done.
That's what I say, man. When I'm running my stuff and I'm doing it the way I do, when I'm running through my gear, once I get it into that box, man, I'm just doing microscoping. I'm just microscoping here, microscoping there, because things is pretty much the way I want to. I don't have to do that much, you know, at all. Ice Mike, what's up with it, Ice Mike? Big shout out to the legendary Ice Mike, man.
What's good?
Shout out to Ice Mike, man. Brother Blink, I see you, brother. Salute. Before I lose my train of thought, too, your thoughts, Roger Linn. Let's try. Let's talk about Roger Linn for a second. First of all, and I want your honest opinion. Do you think that Roger Linn would have been a conversation if I didn't bring his name up?
Probably not.
Because I don't recollect anybody saying anything about Roger Linn until I spoke on it. So I just wanted your honest opinion, because I'm glad that whatever the situation is, the reconciling, whatever, I hope he's getting kickback. I hope. You know, I don't know, but I hope. But what do you think? Do you think that they're gonna slap Roger's name on the next thing and shove it to us? What you thinking?
I would love for them to do that, because without the Linn man, as I call him, none of this would be possible. That machine was never thought of until he came up with it.
Yeah.
Nobody thought, okay, dang, what can we use to sample some drums in, just in case the drummer's not here, so we can go ahead and have a drummer to come on here. We can sample some drums in and do that, right? Nobody thought of that. Then he made it.
Yeah.
And then, of course, it got bought out. And then his name just disappeared.
Right.
Then you started bringing it back up. Like, I'll be honest with you, I got to be 1,000%. When you started bringing it up, that's when everybody was like, you know, you're right.
You know, it just to add lib. So you know, I had to feel some kind of weird way when I'm at the card thing. They Roger, and I'm just, right. Like, from cats that's just Rogering out to that man was kind of left for dead. You know what I'm saying?
Because
My whole
if you would not have said nothing, if he would have walked in there and you probably wouldn't have said nothing, and he would have walked in there, nobody would have pretty much known who he was.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And you know, and this is my thing, bro. My thing is this. I just trying to pay homage to the ones that did it and spark me. These guys opened up for me to have a career. You know, coming from East Oakland, California, and I know you know about East Oakland, you know, that's not the easiest place to come up and do what you do. So when you get a chance to come up on some stuff that's helped you pave and have a career, I'm a very honorable person when it comes to paying that homage. Mr. Ronson, you know, how I paired up with Mr. Ronson. I give him his flowers. You know, Roger Linn. I don't care who it is. You know what I'm saying? I want to honor these guys because they gave us the opportunity and they really cared about. Now, they didn't necessarily make these machines for us. So
I did mention that.
They didn't make these machines for us. You know what I'm saying? So I want to be clear because they weren't really into the hip hop culture, but they respected what we did with it. And I've heard the stories from Roger, and I hear the stories from Mr. Ronson on how their mind was blown on what we were doing. Were able to be creative and push the boundaries with this product. And that's my thing even now is, are we pushing the boundaries or are we just settling and we're just doing the norm? And are we going to push? Because that's the difference between the older generation and now. It's not that we're better or they're better. It's that the creative boundaries made you have to push and think. When you have little sample time, you're trying to figure out, how do I make this happen? I even made a sample challenge. I said, man, what could you do with 10 seconds? What could you really make the hit records that we made with just 10 seconds? Because you got all of this sample time now, and y'all don't make no hit records. So, I mean, are we really having a debate on creativity and what's going on? Because 10 seconds is crazy, bro.
Like I like, to be honest with you, one particular beat, I'm still amazed on how it was created, and that was Shook Ones.
Oh, that's one of my favorite songs. That's one of my favorite East Coast songs probably of all time. I've actually replayed it and gave it more clarity because it was muffled and stuff, but it was dope. It had its own texture to it.
Yeah.
But I replayed it, was a little bit more cleaner, but that's one of my favorite tracks.
For him to take that one part, to pitch it, to break it up, and to do that, you had to be out of your mind to do that. Like the Havoc, I don't know what he was on that day.
I don't either. I don't either. And I be want to ask Havoc that, and I never get a chance to talk to him about it. But that was amazing. I mean, amazing to pitch it down and to chop it like it blows my mind. Even when I did it, I said, man, what made him think? But you know what it was? It was the sample. I think he was using the ASR. And I think it made it easier for him because the way the ASR breaks things down on the keys like that, he was able to play around with it. Because he didn't do it on the MP, because you'd have to think different to do that on the MP.
That's what I was thinking. I didn't know I was like, he couldn't have made it.
Yeah, I think he was, he did. I think he did on ASR 10. I think that's what made the creativity a little bit more. That's why I tell people different machines will challenge you in different ways, creatively. I mean, bro, like I said again, all these machines will make you think differently. And if you have the skills, you could come up with some really creative stuff because the ASR 10 will make you think totally different. Sonically, the whole nine, the way, it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
That's what I was saying, like with the MP, like I try to tell people a lot. When I get it and they add new features to it, I'm not using those features for what they present in the videos.
Yeah.
Case in point, I did a video using Georgia Muscle's drum kit.
Shout out to Georgia Muscle, man. Good brother, man.
Shout out to Georgia Muscle, yeah.
Shout out to my brother, man.
Real ATLian.
Yes, sir.
So I did some of his kit, and he didn't have that many 808 basses in there. He had an 808 bass from like a 808 machine in there. And I like my basses to have distortion, crunch to them. I like to have a little something in there. But what I did to make the 808 sound the way I need to sound is I used the clipper
Mm,
inside of the MPC. And if you have a bass that's not sounding right, you can actually use the clipper
mm,
rather than using a distortion plug-in or whatever. You can take the clipper and change the settings on the clipper to make that bass sound the way you need to sound. And people couldn't understand it. Like, why would you use a clipper? I'm like, well, you're taking that bass, number one, you're clipping, you're clipping the top end of it, and now you're changing the character of that bass. And then if you change the sonics of the clipper, you can really bring certain harmonics out, because that's what clippers are going to do. They're going to bring certain harmonics out. Like, it's basically saturation. We all know
mm.
clippers are
Yeah,
basically
of
saturation.
course, of course, of course.
So you're saturating that and you're bringing harmonics out, and it's going to change the actual tone of that bass to where it's like, okay, I can use this right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when people are like, oh, Bolo, oh, you make drum kits, or you just taking certain sounds, whatever. Yeah, you know what? You're right. I do take certain sounds that are already out, but what I do a lot of times is I'm running it through certain things to get it to sound in the way I would use it,
That's right.
and I'm putting
Well,
it out.
what's the difference between that and sampling? I mean, when you take a sample, you're taking something from somewhere else and you're manipulated to sound the way you want it to sound. That becomes your body of work. Am I right or am I
That's
wrong?
correct.
Okay, I just want to make sure, because if I'm wrong, let's talk about it. You know what
No,
I mean?
and I'm glad we're on this point. I'm glad we're on this point. For all the producers out here, and I want to get your opinion on this, Ski. For all the producers out here that are saying, oh, I'm not going to use Splice. Oh, I'm not going to use such and such. Listen, I'm just going to be honest with you. The only producers who are saying that are producers who never had to deal with getting sample clearances.
Mm.
Okay? For all the people who are watching videos and saying, oh, I don't want to use Splice because if I use it, then I have to go through all of this stuff. We can't use it. It's not a free service. Listen, all right, don't use Splice. Go ahead and sample somebody else's stuff and have to deal with the estate.
Yeah. I mean, bro, listen, let me just speak on that real quick. I did the It's My Ego, and it's not a sample. It's not even a replay. It just feels like Al Green. It feels like it, but
Yeah,
it's not. That was my whole goal, was to make it feel like that, because my mom, my dad, they grew up on it. So I want to do something that gave me that feel. But it's one part in there where I had the guitar play that boom, 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 boom,
yeah,
boom.
yeah.
Like, that's a part you would have to clear. Even if you replay it, you got to go through this state, to him. And they was like, no, nah. Especially when Q said, hey, tell Al Green to pass the grits. They were like, no. Like, no, you ain't gonna diss me on my on the track and ask for clearance. Like, no. But you're absolutely right. You have to go through that. You have to clear these things, man. And it could be a headache, man. I mean, even on the publishing end, you know what I mean? It's like, it could be ugly. I mean, I reflipped Jamaica Funk, and I think they kept like 90%. They kept 90%. But this is the thing, Bolo. This is the thing. And that's why I try to tell people. I think about everything as a business. Sometimes you know what you're going into like that, and you're like, that's cool, because that's going to give me the momentum for these people to see the nostalgic of it, so I can set you up for the other stuff that I'm
That's
doing
right.
that's not the sample. So sometimes you got to give to get. You can't just always think about, I'm going to make this money, I got to get this, I got to get that. Sometimes it's a give to get. It's okay. Take the 90. You got it. You know what I'm saying? You got that. I'm going to
Man,
set you up for something else.
that's right. So this is another thing, right? You got to think. I've been making beats since 2000. I have given away far more beats than I've ever been paid for.
Facts.
And guess what I'm doing right now in life? I'm living
Facts.
like a retiree.
Bro, now you preach to the choir. All of these people that I put in the game, when people say Master P, I'm going to get Master P on here. He going to tell you, I didn't charge him for nothing. He went in and got his deal, and we did his deal at Priority basically off the fact that I was able to just give him stuff because that was my guy. I gave up a lot and never asked for nothing, even on the back end. Like, bro, if you give me something, give it to me, but I do stuff out of love. Most of the
That's
time,
right.
half these guys that I put on, I put them on out of love. So you're absolutely right. But the blessing is, I'm just like you, bro. I'm in cruise control because the blessing came back full throttle.
I'm telling you, and this is what Shakespeare used to always tell me. He used to tell me, he's like, when you're in this music business, it's gonna be 99% of stuff that you do not want to do. You're gonna hate it. It's gonna be just 99% of that. But that 1% of success, that 1% is real success will out Trump the 99% of the BS that you had to deal with.
For sure.
And I didn't get it at first. I'm like, man, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, man, if you don't go ahead and cut me this $4,000 check.
Right.
I need this $4,000.
Right.
And he's
Right.
like, listen, I know you want the bread.
Right.
But just listen to the play I'm trying to make. And I'm like,
Right.
bro, I need this bread, man. You
Right.
tripping.
Right.
He's like, you're gonna be all right, man. You've been all right so far. I'm not
Right.
gonna let you do this to yourself. I'm like, what do you mean you're not gonna let me do this to myself? It's Christmas time. I need this bread.
Right.
I
No, I
even
hear
tried
it.
to go around him to get my bread.
Right.
Didn't happen.
Right.
It was a lesson. He was like, it's a lesson learned. And then what happened is when my biggest situation actually happened, I was like, this is what he's talking about. Because with my biggest situation, I was losing money with that kid.
Mm.
He was coming in, we were doing 3 and 4 hour sessions. He only would come at $30.
Oh, wow.
So I still, and at that time, my studio was being worked on. It was an older building. The AC was out. So for pretty much almost a whole year, I was at my homeboy spot. So he would come in. We were being there for 3, 4 hours. He'd give me $30. My guy, he was like, yeah, I know you was in there a little bit longer, but I'll just charge you for 3 hours. So I would have to go into my pocket or be like, you know what? Let me go ahead and just do some extra work for you, do something, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
to pay this out.
Yeah.
I need to keep
Yeah.
this other little $60 I got.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you know, but I was actually losing money. I was driving from one end of the town to another end of the town, staying there all day, doing all that type of stuff like that, and then having to get more gas and having to do this and do that. But then when it finally popped, it all came back. And I look at that from every artist I work with, because every artist I work with got me ready for that point. And then some people like, man, Bolo, how much do you charge for beats right now? And I tell people, I don't charge. I can't charge you, because
Right.
I never put a dollar sign on my work.
Right.
I've always got from my biggest record, from Silento, all the way from all of the in between records that I did. I never ever charged anybody an upfront fee.
Mm.
And some people are like, man, that's crazy. Why would you never do that? I'm like, well, because I was working with them. Now,
Right.
if they were artists that I was not working with, and they just, hey, we need to get some beats or whatever, and I sent some beats out, yeah, I would get something, but I never charged no more than 10 grand for my upfront fee.
Mm.
Never. That was the highest. And then, because they'll throw out certain numbers, and they were like, so what's the number you want? I'm like, 10 grand. And they'll be quiet on the phone, like, that's it? I'm like, and this is at
Mm.
the height of my career, like in 20, because you got to think in 20, is it 2016 and 2017, Billboard, you can actually look on the charts. I was the #2 producer of that year. The only person who
Mm.
beat me out was Tony Fad, you know.
Mm.
But I was the #2 highest ranked producer on Billboard that year. So, yeah, you got to think at that time, I could have asked for pretty much anything,
Right. Exactly.
because I was
Exactly.
producing and writing.
Right.
So, at that time, I could have charged, what, 25, 30, 40. I could have tried to hit the
Yeah,
40.
yeah, you could have got pretty much what you want. When you're on that charts like that, man, your numbers is pretty much like a blank check almost.
Yeah. So, but I still, at that time, even when I was doing stuff with the Taylor girls at that time, they were just coming in. We were working. I told them I had to say, hey, look, if y'all do what you're supposed to do in 6 months, y'all can get a deal.
Mm.
And we started that pretty much that March, and by late October, they had a deal. You know what
Mm.
I'm saying? And then people were trying to figure out, Bolo, how you do it, how you do it, how you do it. The thing about it was, it's just favor, bro. Like, at the end of the day, it's not about the crumbs right now.
Right.
If people actually understand, $1,000, bro, is gone today. As soon as you get $1,000, it's gone.
It's gone. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Correct. Correct.
Now I know people got light bills. I know people have certain things going on. Get your bread if you have to get it that way, right? But it doesn't mean that every single beat that you do, you have to hound people about, hey man, you got my money for that. You got my money. If you're really working with somebody, like if you see an artist that has potential in your eyes, and you feel that that person can get you to the promised land, don't hound them about no bread. Now,
Right.
people are coming to you saying, "Hey, man, we're gonna get a beat from you. We got this amount." Okay, cool. But if
Right.
you're in this game to try to get to that point, you know as well as I know, you have to be attached. Either you have to be an artist or you have to be attached to an artist.
Right.
Because back
Right.
then, the money
Right.
was in the budgets back then.
Exactly. Exactly.
And I
I
know
mean,
you've seen
bro,
some budgets.
man, I've seen a lot, man. And like I said again, one of the biggest things, man, I've never really made money my God. I always say that I never made money my God because I've always been good at what I do. And I've always been about relationships. I think that's the reason why I'm even still able to be relevant today. It's the relationships. Relationships are priceless. It's a big reason on why, me and P could be cool to this day still, because P just saying, hey man, Ski had my back. That's money right there. Just
Yeah,
off them knowing the history of what's being done. You know what I mean? So I tell people the relationship with me and Q can get anybody. He don't need me, but because we solid and we got that relationship. Like, I think people need to value relationships. Watch what you say, man. Go and have relationships, real relationships, not just using people and taking advantage of. Like, a lot of people don't know. We talk away from just this. A
yeah.
lot of people wouldn't know that. You know what I'm saying? They don't know that. You know what I'm saying? They just think, okay, Ski got his channel. No, we talk away from this.
We talk.
It's about having real relationships and not being like superficial. Like, I don't really need anything from nobody. So everything I do is gonna be unconditional. It's got what can I
Like,
do?
even with the situation like with you and Cube, right? A lot of people don't know that that like y'all are that tight,
Yeah,
right?
right.
And then just how you saying with relationships, a lot of people don't know that who was helping with Cube with that album is here in Atlanta.
Right, 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 right,
He's a known DJ here in Atlanta, and he so happens to be Warren G's kinfolk.
right,
And
right,
he was putting a lot of that stuff together to where even one of my homeboys, who's probably one of the dopest individuals I know, K Major, he ended up on the project with Zaytoven.
that's great. And that you're right. You're right. You're right.
He was calling people up like, "Hey, come to the studio." Because I remember he was on the phone. He's like, "Hey, I'm helping Cube out with his
Yeah,
album, this, that, whatever. I'm putting
yeah,
everything
yeah,
together." I
yeah,
can't think of my guy's name right now, but he's DJ here,
yeah, yeah.
and he was putting that together. So that's why I'm saying you never know who is who, because even though Cube is West Coast,
Yep.
a lot of stuff was being put together here.
That's right. And I know that's factual. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's real. I mean, bro, listen. Before I end this live, because I got to get ready to shut it down because I got to get
Yeah.
the baby to school. But man, we're gonna have to do a part two, bro.
Oh no,
We
come
definitely have
on,
to do
man.
a
You already
part two.
know.
But I tell people the biggest thing for me is with anybody is I'm a relationship person, I'm a loyal person. And I'm gonna always honor the relationship. As long as you honor that relationship because one thing you got to stand on what you stand on.
That's
If I
right.
say we're gonna do something, we're gonna do it. That's how you keep your relationships tight. It's not be wishy-washy because then you just kind of distant because I don't got the time to play. I know you don't got time to play. It's no time to play. So I tell anybody on this channel, man, value your relationships, get the information, man, and build with people. Sometimes it's not about the money. Sometimes relationships will be a bigger picture back in. And I know that's hard for people to see because the economy is jacked up. We need the money, got bills to pay, stuff is through the roof right now. But when you really, really good at what you do, it will all make sense. That's the process that we go through. And like you said, I've given away a lot. I got tracks right now that I hear on the radio. I'm like, damn. They're like, man, I know you got paid for that, so I ain't get a dime for that. like literally, I'd be like, I mean, these dudes have made probably millions of dollars off of just shows off of this, and I ain't got like a dime.
Bro, blame it on alcohol. I have a whole Grammy plaque sitting over here at the house.
Wow.
The guys who wrote the verse found them, took them over, introduced them to somebody. They got on the record because that was Young Jock was on that record at first, playing on the radio here in Atlanta.
Wow.
But then they switched it up, got Jamie on there. It got through somebody's hand to a female, then it got to Jamie.
Wow.
They got on the record. And as soon as that record took off, and it wasn't like they just completely left. It's just, when things take off, they were doing their thing.
No, I understand. Yeah, I get it.
And then one of them hit me back, was like, yo, I got to make sure you get this plaque. I was like, all right. So I got the Grammy plaque hanging.
Yeah.
But did I make any money off that record?
Yeah.
Did my homeboy that set everything up make any money off that record?
Bro, I watch it all the time, bro. I don't think people understand. This is why I could be on here and talk passionately. It's like, bro, I don't really care about what cats are talking about. I'm trying to school you on how you got to go about doing this, how you put in the work, how you pay them dues. And sometimes it's not always about just the money. Go in there with the passion. The passion will pay off in the long run. You've been passionate about it. I've been passionate about it. A lot of my other KLC has been passionate about it. I mean, even when he went through the whole No Limit break and the whole 9, he stayed passionate about it. Don't lose yourself. You know what I'm saying? Stay, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm going to tell you, it's a bigger payoff if you just stay with your craft and stay with your integrity about what you do.
Hey, I know you got to get off, Ski, but look, that's a perfect example. Look at what KLC did after No Limit with the Move record.
3,000% correct. 3,000%. Now he's offered to do the mix for the Super Bowl. So people don't even know he's doing the mix for the Super Bowl. So he's got a mix that y'all got to go check out that he's doing for the Super Bowl for us. iTunes Super Bowl is something.
Yeah, he got his own. Yeah, the whole thing.
Yeah, and I'm like, bro, I'm proud of my brother. And this dude, I mean, come on, man, you're talking about it. Go back 30-something years, like to do that today, bro. That I mean, if you don't salute and take your hat off for me to be cubed and have a record for 14 years and have a hit record today that I was able to do for him. So when people say, oh, the OGs, is that, nah, bro. You got to be determined. And one of the things that I am firm about is that you could be the old OG or you can be the OG that takes the information and then you upgrade it.
That's right.
Because there's an OG that's just old, stuck in his ways. And then you have an OG that say, no, I'm going to take some of these ways, but I'm going to add some of this. That's when you start moving up because you're still growing from what's going on, saying, okay, I'm not going to use all that, but I'm going to take some of this. Yeah. And I think that's how you stay relevant as an OG. You don't have to be stuck in your old ways. You got to adapt. You do have to adapt, but you don't have to adapt where you lose your integrity. You just incorporate some stuff that can add to your legacy. That's how I feel about it, All
right. Last question, Ski.
Yes, sir.
Last question.
Yep.
Your favorite and your least favorite speaker. Monitors.
My favorite speakers is the Genelex. Those like the best to me. To me. My least was the Adams. I just wasn't a big fan of the Adams. And they had sent them to me, for free. And I just didn't like the way they felt to me. They just didn't feel good to my ears. To me though, everybody's different, but to me, the Genelex is just, and that could be a favoritism because I've had the Genelex for so long. I had the, the original ones that they made that was like broke all, that was just like world renowned.
Yeah.
And then the new ones, they got the 3 ways with the sub, like it's just beautiful to my ears for me. But I'm not a big fan of the Adams though.
Okay. Bam. There we go. The man has said it. The man has said it.
Yes, sir. What about yourself?
My favorite speakers right now are the Focals.
Okay.
It's not the expensive Focals.
Okay.
It's the 8s. It's the ones that come in the gray speakers. The consumer brand ones. Mm-hmm. I like those. My least favorite right now, and I know this is not popular with everybody else, is the Yamahas, the Yamaha 8s specifically.
Got
it. The 7s and the 5s I like, but the 8s. Now the only reason why I love the 8s because they're loud. Don't get me wrong, them things is loud. If you need some very loud speakers in a room, love them.
Yeah,
but they're not as accurate as really the old school sevens. I don't know if people remember those. They're the ones with the black cones on them. Those were.
You talking about the Yamaha old ones?
Yeah, they're still the newer brand, but they were the 7-inch ones.
I understand what you're saying.
But those right there were damn good, and the 5s were good. But that's the newer Yamaha 8s. I'm not talking about the 8s that came out in like 2000, like 6, 7, or 5, whatever. Mm-hmm. Not those 8s. I'm talking about the newer model 8s that came out.
I got you. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, man. Like I said, man, the Genelecs will definitely spoil you. They flat, but they hit hard. And they pretty accurate. Like I could do just a light rough mix, and they're like, damn, it just capture. And I know them very well too. So I think that's a big part too. Every monitor, your room, when you get to know stuff, you just get to know how stuff's set. So all of that kind of play a role too, but I love the way they hit too. You know what I mean? They hit and they just sound good to my ears. You know what I mean?
All right, man. Let me see. I might have to go ahead. Which credit card I got? I might have to go ahead and give me some. I gotta find a zero interest card over here real quick.
Well, you let me know. I'm endorsed by them. So if you ever want to mess with them, come holler at me, bro. I got you.
Man, I'm gonna come out that way, man. I just gotta. And I've been saying it for 2 years now. I gotta come out that way. I just gotta make sure I call you as soon as I get off the plane. I gotta make sure I get escorted where I need to go.
I got you. All good, sir. Man,
all right,
thank you, Bolo, man.
Thank you so much, man. We finally made it happen, man.
Hey, man, thank you, bro, for getting on me, because you was like, man, I'm kind of offended, man. Man, Bolo hit me with the most gangster conversation of all time, man. He said, hey, man. So I was like, hey, what's going on? He said, man, I'm like, I can feel the tone. He's like, I'm kind of offended. I said, well, what's going on, Bolo? I ain't been on your platform, homie. I was like, oh, come on, bro. Like, he hit me with the most gangster call of all. I said, come on, man, that's anytime. But in my response is, I respect what you do. I do what I do. So I know that you always working and you're doing this, you're doing that. You putting up content all the time. So I'm always like, whenever it's good, it's always, what it is, but I know you work hard. And that's one thing I'm going to end off on. You work hard, bro, from your lighting, from the content you put up so much stuff. People really need to really honor that. And the super chats, means a lot, because cats, you're giving out a lot of information on the regular and doing that on the regular, taking time from your family and your home and the home. They need to really honor what you do to give this information, man. So I salute you for every day doing that and being consistent for the audience to get this information, man. I salute you at the highest degree, man. And I want this audience to understand, man, that is important, man. When you get these super chats, it definitely shows some honor that, hey, man, you really appreciate this person taking this time out, because y'all complain that people don't do it, and then when they do it, you just sit back and you look at them and then you feel entitled. This is not an entitlement. This is about a privilege and an honor for people to come out here and want to do this, including myself. I do it because I love the culture and I want to see people grow. I've watched so many people that hit me and they be so confused with the information. Like, look, I just want to give you what I can give you. If you honor what I do, I'm going to give you A1 game on how to get your mind right, get your spirit right. So love to everybody on here, man. Respect to you, Bolo, man. Keep doing what you do, bro. We will definitely do a part 2, sir. I see you said, Mac. Shout out to you too, my brother. And Mr. Hilby.
Yes. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and bust these bagels down in a minute.
All right, Bolo, man. We'll get together soon, man. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you, man.
All right.
Peace out, everybody.
Peace. Man, shout out to Bolo. Shout out to everybody that's on the page, man. Thank y'all for hitting the likes, for the super chats. I appreciate everybody, man. It was long overdue, man. We just got a chance to chop it up as brothers, man, and and just talk about some stuff, man. You guys both give us time and knowledge. Thank you, Yak. I appreciate everybody on here, man. The almighty EA Ski, man. Y'all have a great, blessed day, man. Be great. Keep your spirit right. All right.
Yeah. It's your homie Ice Cube with the 3 men.